Indigenous people. Stories of the world's ancient communities imagine a corner of the world where life, culture, and traditions are so intertwined with nature that it feels like an extension of it. This is the essence of the habitats of indigenous peoples. Today, let's talk about a special group of people who, for centuries, have enriched human history through their unique cultures, languages, and ways of life. Yes, we're talking about indigenous peoples. Let's dive into their lifestyles, struggles, and traditions. Who are indigenous people? The term, indigenous people, brings to mind ancient communities who have lived in a particular region for generations. They have their own languages, religions, and cultures, which set them apart from mainstream societies. A defining characteristic of indigenous peoples is their nature-dependent lifestyle. They are so deeply connected to forests, rivers, and mountains that their way of life becomes an integral part of nature itself. For example, the Santhals and Garos rely heavily on forest resources and agriculture for their livelihood. Indigenous lifestyles. The lifestyles of indigenous people symbolize simplicity and complete reliance on nature. Their primary occupations include farming, livestock rearing, hunting, and gathering forest resources. They follow the rhythms of nature. For instance, the Santhals pray to their deities for rain, while the Tripura community celebrates harvest festivals. These rituals are not just religious but also integral to their social lives. They usually follow self-governance systems. Issues within their villages or communities are often resolved by elder councils, or leaders, a testament to their traditional ways of living. Indigenous culture encompasses their songs, dances, crafts, clothing, and religious rituals. They pass down their traditions and stories from one generation to the next through their languages and folklore. Their music and dance often revolve around nature or daily life. For example, the Chakma community's traditional Jum dance is performed during the harvest season. Additionally, their craftsmanship is a vital part of their identity. Handmade items like bamboo or cane crafts, woven fabrics, and earthenware have gained recognition worldwide. Challenges faced by indigenous people. 1. Land displacement. Land is central to the lives of indigenous people. However, industrialization, urbanization, and development projects often lead to forced displacement. For instance, India's Narmada Dam project displaced many indigenous communities, disrupting their livelihoods and heritage. 2. Poverty. A large portion of indigenous people live in poverty. Lack of education and inability to adapt to modern lifestyles often leave them behind in mainstream society. 3. Cultural erosion. Modern technology and urbanization have threatened their languages, religions, and traditions. For example, the language of Bangladesh's Rakhine community is nearing extinction. 4. Discrimination. Indigenous people frequently face social and economic discrimination, often being deprived of their rightful opportunities. Efforts to protect indigenous rights. UN initiatives. The United Nations 2007 Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples emphasizes their self-determination, land rights, and cultural preservation. Indigenous protection in Bangladesh. Although Bangladesh's constitution does not formally recognize indigenous people, special funds and projects have been introduced for their development. However, much work remains to be done. Indigenous communities in Bangladesh. Bangladesh is home to around 30 indigenous groups, including the Chakma, Marma, and Tripura in the Chittagong Hill Tracts and the Santhal and Manipuri in northern regions. For example, the Santhals primarily rely on agriculture, while the Garo community celebrates the harvest with their famous Wangala festival. Unfortunately, many indigenous people are being forced to change their traditional lifestyles due to land grabbing and modern pressures. The future of indigenous peoples. What can we do? Preserving the lives and cultures of indigenous people is vital not just for them but for all of us. Their traditions and nature-based lifestyles play a crucial role in environmental conservation. Here's how we can help. 1. Actively work to protect their land and rights. 2. Promote research and training programs to preserve their languages and cultures. 3. Improve their socio-economic conditions through education. Conclusion. Indigenous peoples are an inseparable part of our world's past and present. Their lifestyles, struggles, and cultures teach us how to live in harmony with nature. However, they continue to face numerous challenges today. It is our responsibility to stand by them and help enrich their lives. Remember, indigenous peoples are not just a community, they are the living history of our world. If you use this narrative to create a video, it will likely engage the audience and help them better understand this important